Rob Allen, Chief Product Officer with Threatlocker. Thanks very much for joining us today on MySecurityTV.
You're very welcome, Chris. Thank you for having us.
And we're media partners here at Zero Trust World here in Orlando, so thank you for hosting us here. Fascinating few days. We just spoke to Danny Jenkins, the CEO as well.
The brains of the operation.
Absolutely. Yeah, look, if anything, his mouth can't talk fast enough given how much knowledge he has.
Absolutely.
And I suppose maybe we'll start there around the product, your role as Chief Product Officer, and where the company's currently at, and maybe some of the new announcements being made here at ZTW.
Sure. Well, I've been at the company for 4 years, or just over 4 years now, and it's come on in leaps and bounds. I think I was maybe employee 30-ish.
Oh, wow, okay.
Started off working from home, back home in Ireland during COVID, and have to see the company having gone from that to now being over 500 staff and churning out products and features at the rate we are is phenomenal. The new things we've announced, obviously, we take ideas from a lot of different sources. So we've got lots of customers now. Pretty much every customer has ideas as to what they think would enhance the product for them, what they think the product should do. You know, how we can do something that would take another agent off their machines, how we can do something that would be one less product that they have to manage, understand, learn, one less portal that they need to access every day. So we take those ideas, we obviously sprinkle them in with the ideas that Danny has as well, which are always phenomenal ones, and basically try and turn them into products by the time Zero Trust World comes along. So one of the great things about the event in general is we get to talk, we get to interface with customers, we get to listen to customers, we get to hear what their ideas are, what their feedback is, what they find easy, what they find hard, what's good, what's bad. It's incredibly valuable information, and to be perfectly honest, very often a lot of the things that are going to come around by this time next year are things that people will have said to us today as, we think you should do this.
Well, I think given the granularity of the platform, given the control and the configurations that you can have, even just yesterday I was speaking to one of your partners or clients in relation to healthcare, and they're having to have remote sort of access to certain things during clinical procedures, and Threatlocker was blocking it as it does, but then just getting past those kind of problems. Every business is unique, but it's also making sure it's all configurable.
Absolutely. Healthcare are a particular problem at the moment because they're perceived as being such high value targets because of the sensitivity of the information that they hold. They're also, generally speaking, not as well protected because they may not have the budget for cybersecurity as some other organizations would have. But those two reasons combined means that the number of attacks taking place on healthcare organizations today is phenomenal. It's probably more than any other type of businesses. Healthcare are getting hit. And again, that's one of the things that we're here to try and help with.
Well, that's one thing with cybersecurity and Threatlocker in particular is you are suitable to all businesses. Again, something Danny mentioned is designing the product so you can help a large enterprise through to a small business. The key sort of through the channel, but obviously through the MSPs aspect. How do you manage that? Just bringing on MSPs, and I think a call to action is you're obviously interested in finding new partners as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, my own background, I worked for an MSP for many years. The way I like to see it is that I went from basically cleaning up after cyber attacks and I suppose remediating breaches to now helping stop them or stopping them in their tracks before they even happen. The company I used to work for is now a proud and happy Threatlocker partner. We used to deal with probably on average a cyber attack a month across our customer base. Since they've put Threatlocker into play, I'm not aware of any cyber attacks that have taken place across any of their environments. So it's gone from one a month to now it doesn't happen, and it's because of Threatlocker.
And I suppose this is the fifth Zero Trust World, I believe. Just what's the next 12 months hold, and any other call to actions in terms of the dashboard that we should be aware of?
Well, in terms of Zero Trust World, the event itself is going from strength to strength, much like the company. It's doubled year on year. I mean, my first one, I think, there was about 200 people at, in a much smaller venue than this, but I'm nowhere near as professional an operation or an event. But look, the sky's the limit. I mean, who's to say? I mean, I would imagine that next year is probably going to be twice as big again as it was this year. In fact, I could confidently say that Danny will not be happy unless next year is twice as big as this year. So that's something that we're all going to have to work towards. But one thing I would say is pretty much everybody's been here. If you speak to anyone, will you come back next year? I suspect the answer is going to be yes, because they find the event so valuable.
Well, again, I think a closing statement from Danny is everyone's learning here, and even I was a bit tempted to start studying and doing the certifications as well.
Some of the labs, yes.
Yeah, but definitely, obviously, the range of people here as well. Some quite a range in ages as well. It's good to see young people here.
Yeah.
And obviously those certifications gives them an opportunity to get into cybersecurity and keep learning.
So. Very much so.
I think also, just some comment, and the platform itself, I think encapsulates the challenges of cybersecurity quite well as well. And so speaking to some of the partners, they also enjoy sort of applying that for their clients down the line.
Absolutely.
So,
I mean, probably the most common feedback that I get from customers, when they're in a good mood, but the most common feedback I get from customers is that we help them sleep better at night.
Yep.
And that means so much. I mean, it's the definition of changing people's lives for the better.
Yep.
Now, it's in the context of cybersecurity, but the fact of the matter is that if a customer of ours sleeps more soundly in his bed at night because he knows, or he or she knows, that Threatlocker is protecting his environment, I mean, that means the world to us.
Absolutely.
And it's definitely a driving factor.
Wonderful. Well, Rob, we have done a session virtually, but it's good to meet you in person here.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much for joining us on MySecurityTV. Enjoy the rest of Zero Trust World. You're the Chief Product Officer, so you're in the front seat, but enjoy the rest of the ride.
Thank you so much.